Welcome to the Dancing Oracle with Najia for part 2 of the Mandela Effect. And I'm going to tell you my story because I had a major Mandela Effect thing happen in my life that I just can't explain following my interview with Linda G.Comanche Psychic medium. She brought me on her channel. It was life-changing. And I jumped timelines and I have physical evidence. I have physical evidence and I'm experiencing a Mandela effect in my life. So if you're unfamiliar with the Mandela effect, you can watch part 1. I talked a little bit about it. And here's a couple more examples. The Mandela effect, which is named after Nelson Mandela, because some people believe he died in the 80s and other people, remember him being let out of prison and eventually becoming president. Another one I didn't talk about in part 1 was the line in Casablanca where Ingrid Bergman says, "Play it again, Sam." I remember that line. I watched that movie a few times. I remember that famous line. And present reality says it never happened. Another famous line, and I used to watch Star Trek when I was a little kid. "Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up, Scotty." Says Captain Kirk didn't say it that way. I remember "Beam me up, Scotty." Who else remembers "Beam me up, Scotty"? Who else remembers the cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom commercial? I do. I remember it being animated. Who remembers back in the day when Jif peanut butter used to be called Jiffy? I remember when they rebranded and said, "We're just Jif now. We're just Jif." That was years ago. And Publishers Clearinghouse, Ed McMahon, presenting the checks to people. That was the commercials I grew up with. He worked for Publishers Clearinghouse, but present reality says no, he worked for American Family Publishers. And by the way, I couldn't find that video of him and Johnny Carson talking about it, but I did find a couple other videos of him talking to a reporter. Reporters asking him about Publishers Clearinghouse. Ed's talking about his experience. I saw another video where Johnny Carson presents a Publishers Clearinghouse check to David Letterman, in honor of Ed and, his association, and lots and lots and lots and lots of television shows in their script bring that whole thing up, Ed presenting a check. So it's all over the internet, and I'll put a couple video links in for you, but let me tell you my story. Craziness. Okay. So many of you who've jumped over to my channel, at least 1,000 of you, are Linda G fans, and I've had the pleasure of doing readings for you all week long, night and day, around the clock, trying to fit you in. And you're the best and best and best, the best, as she always says. Her people are the best. And thank you. You've changed my life. You've all changed my life. Linda, you've changed my life. So over a month ago, I had to have surgery, like well over a month ago. I can't remember exactly. But I had to get a scan. I had to get some radiology done. And they made me remove all my earrings, and I wear usually three earrings. 3 sets of earrings from 3 holes back in my punk rock days. And I take the first 2 pair of earrings out every night, and I always leave these in. So I had these black tourmaline with quartz. It's called rutilated quartz. It's a very powerful crystal. And I'm very, into crystals, so I wear them 24/7. Here's another example of rutilated quartz. All right, let me just show you. It's got some little lines in it. It's hard to see. Anyway, It's it's quartz with strands of black tourmaline in it. Okay, and I wasn't prepared to take all my jewelry off. I didn't know I was getting another radiology thing, and so I just put them in a tissue in my pocket until I got home. If you know, I didn't want to put them in my purse, so I put them in a different pocket so they wouldn't get all lost in my purse. So when I get home and I take everything out, I'm missing one of these earrings. And I'm like, damn, I left it, where I was getting surgery, or maybe it fell on my floor. And in fact, I wasn't vacuuming the floor for a couple of weeks hoping to find it. I couldn't find it. And all month, I would rub my empty right ear here because I couldn't find this earring. I'm like, oh man, I missed that earring. I'm going all over the internet trying to find another post, a post earring, a small earring like this that I like. And I couldn't find anything. In fact, I put a bunch of stuff, in my cart, but I didn't like anything. I didn't buy anything. So a few weeks goes by, and I'm always rubbing my ear like, oh, I feel naked without that earring. I feel naked. I feel like, for years I have this always on my right ear. I do Linda G's show. What do you think happened? What do you think happened? I rubbed my right ear, and the earring appears out of thin air. It's on my ear. The earring, after doing Linda G's show, the magical, life-changing Linda G. My angel, my human angel. This earring appears on my ear. I'm a pretty grounded person, even though I'm a mystical person. I'm a Virgo through and through. I'm pretty grounded when it comes to life on planet Earth. All right? And I don't drink and do drugs and stuff like that. Okay? Nor could I manifest an earring out of thin air suddenly appearing on my ear in the middle. I never found my earring and it appeared on my ear. I don't know what to think. The only thing I'm exploring now is I hear a lot about timelines. That we, through our thought process, through our vibration, through our feelings, our emotions, we are creators. We are all a part of God. We're all, fractals of the one. And we're always creating. And we're creating, this is what I'm hearing from the internet, and I also heard this from when I contacted a channel, someone who channels, and it was actually a couple, and a man and a woman, and I had readings with both of them, husband and wife, and they talked about the timelines you can create and how you can step into these different timelines, that not only do we have past and present, future lives, because everything is technically in the world of physics happening at once. We're just experiencing time moving. But not only do we have whatever would be considered a past life or a future life. But we have all these timelines that we're building up. And of course, I know this from science that there is no such thing truly as time. Everything, and mysticism, I mean, if you study Eastern religions, everything is happening at once, you know? It's just we're in a physical brain and body and we experience past, present, future. And, to shift timelines requires, an eclipse moment, like, something major happens and it just changes your consciousness. So I've been dealing, with a lot of changes in my career before I decided to put on the psychic hat that Linda had encouraged me many times to do. I was kind of forced to do it for financial reasons, to stay in my house. I needed to find something else to do that would bring in some income, and I've been working hard on it. But up until now, it's been a lot of work and bank account, struggling, So I went from struggle mentality to like, wow, I could feel like life is going to be okay, Maybe it won't just be okay for me. Maybe I could help out my family again, I used to be able to do that. And I miss being that person that had an overflow to give of a physical abundance. I always give what I can from my heart. But it's nice to be able to think if my grandnephew wants something, or my grandniece, whatever. I could say, here, honey, tell me what you want. Let's go get it. Or, if anybody needs, it would be nice to think I could. And I'm starting, I've had that shift in my consciousness thanks to Linda on her show repeatedly saying, hey, are you available? Tell people about your schedule and the name of your channel and the name of your website. She kept bringing it up. God bless her. Tell me if you've experienced this Mandela effect. Check out the first video. And if you're a VIP Oracle member, we're planning to do deep dive discussions on this in the chat. I'll be speaking, you'll be chatting. We're going to bring it all up. I'm looking forward to starting these chats all about it. And, tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me about your Mandela effect moments. If you've had shifting timelines, sliding door. The movie Sliding Doors? It's all about the timelines. I saw that years ago. I think it was Gwyneth Paltrow was in it, I think. So tell me I'm dying to hear what you experience. I'm kind of feeling a little bit alone in all this. All right. All right. Take care. Bye, everybody. See you later.